Before we jump into today's video, have you subscribed to Bumblebee yet? No? Well, what are you waiting for? Dewey and I, along with our entire team, especially Chris, have been working so hard to bring this channel to life, and we hope that you enjoyed as much as we've enjoyed working on it. So please make sure to press that subscribe button so when we launch, you're the first to know. And also, I just want to point out that I'm wearing a shirt that says exterminate. I would never exterminate the bees. The bees are important. This is a Doctor Who reference. There you go. Now on to today's video. As the ice continues to melt due to global warming, there are tons of secrets slowly seeping out. From hints of the past to cursed corpses, grab your toque because things are gonna get pretty icy today. I'm your host Raechel Fisher, and get ready to review our top 10 list of the weirdest things found buried in ice. Number 10, World War I soldiers. It was called a world war for a reason, as there seemed to be not a single patch of land that was untouched by blood and loss. They fought in the mud, the waters, and of course, the snow, resulting in fallen men being claimed by icy graves. 2 Austrian soldiers were found in the village that saw the battle known as the White War. A part of World War I was fought on the Italian front in the Alpine region of Italy. The 2 soldiers were found after a glacier melted in a ski resort in Peo. Unbeknownst to the people seeking a fun vacation and an après-ski was the bloody history of men who never made it home. Number 9. Lion cubs. Your thoughts may have jumped to picturing the odd image of African lions somehow playing in the snow, but not quite. Close, but not quite. This little cub was actually a cave lion cub found frozen in the northeastern region of Yakutia, Russia. What's even more sad is you can even see it resting its little head on its paws, only about 1 year old. But this isn't the first time this region has yielded a similar discovery. Prior to this cub, 2 more were found 2 years prior called Unya and Dina, and were the first cave lions to ever be found. Both sets of remains date back to the Ice Age, or at least 12,000 years old. This species of cave lion went extinct over 10,000 years ago, and researchers believe that these cubs died due to neglect. Either their mother passed away, or they were trapped and left behind. But the most exciting thing about the most recent remains is that it could be used for cloning, or it could be used to help complete the genome, which is really exciting. Whether or not we'll actually clone them is still on the back burner. Who knows? Number 8. Green boots. Besides the mountain itself, green boots is one of the most famous and morbid discoveries on Mount Everest. The treacherous trek has claimed over 200 bodies of people who tried to say they'd accomplished the legendary feat of climbing Mount Everest, but none are as famous or as foreboding as Green Boots. His name was Sewang Paljor, but most know him as Green Boots. For nearly 20 years, he has laid on his side, wrapped in a red fleece, covered in ice and snow, with his green boots clearly in view. His legs stretch out across the path, and many travelers have to awkwardly step over it to continue up the mountain. He was just 28 when he died, along with 2 other climbing partners. Little is known beyond that, but he almost serves as a guardian for fellow adventurers to take care and stay safe while climbing to the top of the world. Number 7. Live alligators. Right? By the end of this list, you may get the idea that if you were trapped in the ice, there's no chance that you'd come back from that. Unless you're an alligator. In fact, they have the very odd tendency of, well, see for yourself. Check out this video clip. Imagine seeing an alligator snout just poking out through the ice. Well, now you know better than to assume that they are dead. There's a reason alligators have survived for so long. While semi-frozen, they undergo a process called brumation, where they basically shut down their metabolism and slow down their heart rate, and then just like wait for the cold to go away. Imagine if we could do that with winter. Oh man, a lot of my life would be wasted. What about skiing and skating? They can't do that though, so I get it. That's a kind of patience I guess I will never understand. Number 6. The icy elevator. Moving away from mountains and ice caps, this next one was a grim discovery made in Detroit in an elevator shaft of all places. In 2009, a dead body was found frozen in ice at the bottom of an elevator shaft. Right? They had to use saws to extricate his body. The man's name was Johnny Redding, and whether he was pushed or fell down the shaft is yet unknown. But the coroner's report states that he died of a drug overdose, but that still doesn't explain how he ended up there. He was discovered when a few kids were playing ice hockey nearby and at first ignored it, but then they saw that it wasn't just his shoes, but an entire body stuck between 2 to 3 feet of water. very terrifying to discover. Number 5. Hidden treasure. I don't know whether it's because of Pirates of the Caribbean or because of the Curse of Oak Island, because I love that show. I love watching that with my dad. But I know I'm not the only one who's dreamed of just finding treasure in their backyard or, well, scuba diving somewhere. In January 1966, Air India Flight 101 crashed on the summit of Mont Blanc, the highest mountain in France. 117 people died and many recovery attempts were abandoned, and it took 50 years for a massive secret to be revealed. The wreckage sadly was pulverized when it hit the mountain, but stuck within several layers of ice was the treasure of a lifetime. A small case packed with $246,000 worth of emeralds, rubies, and sapphires. The climber who found them, stand-up guy. He was an honest man and tried to find the owners. So they were kept in a vault until the right owner could be found. Not only did this ice reveal a treasure trove of gems, but also a damn gem of a human being, because who on earth wouldn't have just kept them? He is the guy that would run up behind you if you dropped your $5 or left your laptop behind. Man, the world needs more people like him. Let us know if you would have kept them or done what he did in the comments. What kind of person are you? Let us know. Number 4, the woolly rhino. We've heard of the woolly mammoth, but a woolly rhino? Maybe you've heard about that before on our channel, but hey, let's talk about Sasha. Affectionately named Sasha, this baby woolly rhino may be the key to discovering its placement in the mammal family tree. Sasha roamed the earth 10,000 years ago and is the only complete specimen ever found of the species. It roamed the cold, dry mammoth steppe region from Spain to Siberia, and there it perished until a hunter and a businessman discovered her. Sasha was donated to the Yakutian Academy of Sciences in Russia and carries the weight of completing the genome on her shoulders. If they do complete it, it could mean that they may be able to bring them back, but kind of as the same thing as the lion cubs. Should we not? Let us know what you think in the comments. And coming up to our top 3, please let us know if you like this video by pressing that lovely little thumb button and subscribe, as well as press that little bell so you get a notification every single time a new video comes up. We post so many a day and it's a challenge to keep up, so let us know. Number 3, OTZI the Iceman. OTZI the Iceman is perhaps one of the most famous icy discoveries ever made, partly because he has aided in developing our knowledge of life in the Copper Age, and the other half because people think he is cursed. Kinda like Tutankhamun. After thousands of years alone, a couple of hikers at last discovered him in 1991 by accident. He still had his clothing and his equipment while he slept in the Valsenal Valley Glacier. The last time OTZI was alive was over 5,300 years ago, which means he is older than the pyramids and Stonehenge, though he might have lived longer if he hadn't have been murdered, which could be the reason as to why many believe he is cursed. Several people have passed away mysteriously and under suspicious circumstances. Whoever were in direct contact with the corpse and the bodies keep stacking, so who knows. Number 2, disease. I know, viruses are probably the last thing you want to hear about right now. I know it is for me, but I couldn't ignore this. It was too cool and it had to be on this list. Though there are a lot of things no longer living trapped beneath the ice, except for alligators just chilling there, there are other more dangerous things that simply wait. I'm not talking about massive monsters or mythical creatures, something much smaller and far more insidious. Scientists are currently concerned that some of the world's most deadly viruses might resurface, but it's not really a case of might, it's a when will they resurface. In August 2016, the nightmare became reality. A boy died and 20 other people were hospitalized because they were infected with anthrax, a disease that revived due to melting permafrost. That's just one example. There are tons more that could be released, including the bubonic plague and smallpox. Plus, with antibiotic resistance, who knows if we will be able to survive them this time. And last but not least, this one is so fascinating to me and very controversial, the Inca Maiden. One of the best preserved mummies ever found, and not by any special kind of embalming process, but because of how they were frozen. It was just because of the natural environment that they were preserved so well. Her body, along with 2 younger ones, were discovered looking as if they'd only been dead like 2 weeks, not for 500 years. When John Reinhardt, a US archaeologist and expedition member, said, and I quote, "A chill went down my my spine the first time I saw her hands because they looked like those of a person who is alive," unquote. The expeditioners had to battle 3 days of blizzards to reach the 22,000-foot summit and dig through 5 feet of rocks and soil. One of the guys had to be lowered down by his ankles to lift out the mummies. Their goal was to get to an Incan burial platform, and that's where they found them. You can even see the lice frozen to her scalp and the hairs on her arms. There was even still blood preserved in her veins and her heart. When she defrosted, it actually poured out of her veins, like it was still there. Researchers believe they were sent up to the mountain to be sacrificed in order for them to be closer to the gods. A huge honor of the time, not something we necessarily do now. But even crazier still, they were able to find a man from a small village at the foot of Mount Ampato who is her living descendant. Insane. And that was our list of top 10 weirdest things found buried in the ice. You know the drill. Did you like it? Let us know. Plus subscribe to stay up to date. And as well, please keep an eye out for me on Bumblebee, and remember to join the hive and subscribe. I've been your host, Raechel Fisher, and until next time guys, take care. Moving away from mountains and ice caps, get away from my eyelash.